Let me introduce the guest. He is one of those guys who is one of the first 3 people in the world to have received a 3G call. If you're doing a domestic flight, it has to be Air India. It has to be the AI lounge at the T2 airport. Agar T1 galti se jana pade, now thankfully there is Rameshwaram Cafe, so the lounge can get deprioritized. Straight Rameshwaram Cafe, podi masala dosa.
When I'm with my family, I let my wife take the reins to say, okay, where do you want to go? What all do you want to do? Because I've been lucky enough to travel more for work. So even if my meeting gets over at 11 o'clock in the night, I'll make sure that I'll go to one famous place to eat in that city.
Let's talk a little about Scapia. How did the idea germinate? You know, there is this song. Kaise hua, itna zaruri, kaise hua. तो बताओ कैसे हुआ?
Each founder has that heart moment where he feels कि हाँ ये मुझे अब launch करना है. Tell me that aha moment, Anil.
I got it when I was on my vacation with my family and family friend. We were actually traveling and I was dabbling in the space of travel and then it just struck me.
The world has changed after ChatGPT, by the way. Like you can happily talk to ChatGPT. One thing is ChatGPT always makes you feel good.
ChatGPT as his companion.
नहीं होता अभी recently, but it makes you feel good. Like even if you had the worst day as solo traveler, like हाँ amazing day that you had, great planning.
If Scapia gave you a time machine, what era would you travel?
I would travel to 90s to watch a little bit more of Sachin batting in his prime.
April 1998.
Down the track comes Sachin Tendulkar.
Flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. 0 to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.
Hello and welcome to the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. We've got a very special episode lined up today where we'll try and get the inside scoop on how a travel-first fintech product is being built hardcore for the Indian travelers. And to do this, we've got a very special guest. Let me introduce the guest in the most fun way I think is possible. This is the guest who runs a very cool company. He takes his employees to watch RCB matches at the IPL, I'm told. There is apparently a Friday club which serves biryanis every Friday. He had me there. And thirdly, he is one of those guys who is one of the first 3 people in the world to have received a 3G call. Think about when 3G was invented and being one of the first 3 people in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the founder and CEO of Scapia. Anil, big thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm surprised you found out about all this stuff, especially the biryani club. I'm a vegetarian, by the way. I'm not part of the club. They deliberately didn't add me, but I see the fun that they have every day, every week. And on a serious note, thanks for having me. I've been noticing what you guys have been doing on YouTube. Looks like you have a big fan club. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. Along with Anil, we've got 2 more guests who are regulars on the show, which is my co-founders Dhimant and Ameya. Dhimant, like you can see, nice and bubbly in yellow today. Kya scene hai, Dhimant?
Good scene there. I'm like one of those days when you are meeting somebody whom you know from a long time and meeting that same person in a different avatar. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation, right? So
you know, you've known Anil for a long time now. Talk about your work history. Talk about how you met. Talk about the Anil you know in the boardroom. And talk about the Anil you know outside the boardroom, which is real life. One of Anil's passions, like we were discovering, is he's a competitive foosball player.
Oh, nice.
So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Even I did not know about the foosball thing.
I'm not a competitive football player now. I used to be a competitive football player a while back, or not professionally, but inside the office.
No, No, actually, like I know Anil from Flipkart because we worked together in Flipkart, and for the largest periods, I've known him as a person who heads businesses at Flipkart, right? So I'm really looking forward to unpack Anil the traveler today. I'm actually very keen to understand like what made you think about starting a travel company, how you kind of got insights for your company, etc. I'm really looking forward to that person and enjoy this conversation with you, Anil, as usual.
With that, we also have our double dip guy. And the double dip guy, Swad Anusar, Ameya. Ameya, how are you doing?
I'm good. I had too much coffee today. So let's see how this one plays out.
Awesome. All right, so Anil, shuru karte hain, yaar.
Yeah.
Very excited to have you today.
No, thanks for having me
Let's
again.
talk a little about Scapia.
Yeah.
How did the idea germinate? When did the idea germinate? I
Yeah.
mean, you've been the Qualcomm guy. Eventually, Flipkart happened.
Yeah.
After Flipkart, another startup happened.
Yeah.
And then, Scapia
Yeah,
germinated.
yeah.
You know, there is this song. कैसे हुआ इतना जरूरी कैसे हुआ तो बताओ कैसे हुआ
I wish I had such a good voice to sing back
यार
a
ये
tune
कहाँ
to you.
अच्छी voice है यार
Yeah.
तो बात
Yeah, I was at Qualcomm. I spent 5 years there. Then, when you don't know what to do in life, you go back to study. So I studied, and then I went to McKinsey for a bit, for a year or so, and then I would say a lot of my consumer internet upbringing. Maybe Deemant will attest to that as well, having spent quite a bit of time at Flipkart. Yeah, then I took a detour into the B2B world during COVID. Decided it was not the muscles that I have, and wasn't enjoying it as much as I enjoy building Scapia now.
Yeah.
Took an unusual move of starting a company, raising capital, but while we had a lot of capital, returning the capital because that company was not going in the right direction, and took a break for 3 months. I just gave myself, first of all, the first couple of months to do nothing. I literally didn't do anything. We moved into a new house. I was fighting with my wife a lot because she was telling me, do this, do that. At some point, I was just figuring out whether the joint in the wooden beams was perfect for the next 1 month. Okay.
I'm glad you're talking about the wooden beam ka joint and another joint.
Yeah, and I'm not into that, by the way. But I started going after things that I am passionate about. I was thinking about what are the things that I would like to do. Then I took a little bit of step back and I looked at where is India going next? What are Indian consumers going to spend in the next 10, 15 years, 20 years? So I'm talking about end of 2021. Right? COVID had not officially come to an end. People are still paranoid about, pandemic. And what was evident to me, and also through the research that I had done, was India is at the cusp of more and more disposable income coming to people's wallets. People will be hungry for more good products. It is going beyond, I would say, roti kapda makan. People want to have more fun. People want to experience things. People want to go out a lot. It was quite evident to me that travel was going to come back. It was one of my personal passions. I have traveled quite a bit. I enjoy it quite a bit. It was something that I thought I could help Indians do a lot more. I've also experienced products, having lived abroad, which are quite delightful. I've also experienced products in India before Scapia came in, which were not so great. They were probably value accretive. They were good for the customer to just use it to get some value, but it's not something that you love to use, right? So that's when the whole idea came up. I think there is an open space here. I would say some of it is serendipity. Some of it was just me dabbling on the problem for 3-4 weeks. But the idea just struck, hey, what if I could just do a card, work with banks and put out a card which has travel rewards, but also build the travel platform so that then I solve for it holistically, where the customer is there with us through the year, uses our product, enjoys using it, and then also travels with us through the travel platform that we are building. We used to have a Figma file, a one-pager, with what we thought was a good card with travel rewards. And say, Sometimes some of these features don't, by the way, we have right now. We had some hypothesis that, we should probably give extra baggage.
Yeah.
Because when they travel, people may want
Love to
extra
hear
baggage.
some of those. Give us some of the things which are not made it. Like give us some of those features that you thought.
Yeah, like some of these things, like, like extra baggage we thought we could do, right? And then no questions asked, flight cancellations and rescheduling if you book through our card,
That is something that is really powerful. So why didn't that make the list?
Look, these sound good.
Yeah.
Okay, they are exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, and some of them are also pandemic influenced. Because obviously when you are in the pandemic and you're thinking about it, ki, boss, flight cancellation, obviously to ho sakta hai because you can fall sick.
Yeah.
Right? But as we did more and more research and we spoke to more and more people, some just fell off the list because it was not appealing to everybody, or it wasn't just practical to do it because the cost of delivering those was going to be so high.
Correct.
Like some of it is obviously so good. I can give, for example, a gold-plated metal card with diamonds on it, and then of course you would love it, But there's a cost of doing some of these things.
But
right?
Anil, on this, so I mean, essentially, you talked a lot about the psyche of the consumers, right?
Yeah.
And at least I'm sure you have much more clearer data on this. But whatever we hear from people, the way you have designed the Scapia card, right? It is the sub-segment that I hear it's a lot more popular amongst is the Gen Z people, right? Or at least the Gen Z people find it very attractive due to the simplicity of rules. You also talked about, how things work differently in America versus in India. So America pretty much, I think, as we say, Indian national sport is hockey, cricket. American national sport is credit card reward. So can you dive deep a little bit with respect to what
You made it a national sport now. Yeah.
No, but essentially, how does the Indian consumer or how does a young
Yeah.
Indian consumer think differently in terms of these things?
Yeah. No, look, see, these are the things that actually we discovered over the 3-4 months that we spent time researching. And by the way, our company is very, very big into consumer research and talking to customers. You would not believe it. Every Friday, along with the Biryani Club, we have an end of week sync we have in the office where there's a team that would have traveled to some part of the country. Like a couple of people who would have met 5-6 customers, then they will come and present. These are the 5-6 customers of Scapia that we met this week. This is who they are. This is what they value about our product. This is what they don't like. And it's a double benefit. The folks in the company get to go to a new place. They travel. They go experience a new city in India. I actually push them.
Just to meet customers, they fly out?
Just to meet to customers, to fly out, yeah.
That's a seriously
It's
cool
not
perk.
just to meet customers, it's a very important job.
I get it, but how
yeah.
awesome is that? In Bangalore, mein itne sare customers honge.
I think we are
But
going
if somebody is getting the opportunity to go somewhere else and meet customers,
Yeah. And it's paid for by the company.
and get a biryani budget as well, why not?
The community that we have, I'm sure you're going to expect questions like कि Scapia पे apply कैसे करना है बता दो.
Exactly. Is there a careers.scapia?
There are. We are hiring. We love for people who are interested to apply. But on a serious note, people go travel. They they experience that city. But more importantly, they spend time with 5-6 customers. Come back and they relay the feedback. Right?
Yeah.
What is good? What is working? What is not working? Right? That's the culture that we have built. And that's what I did, by the way, for the first 4-5 months before building any product. All right, with a few members in the company who joined early. To your question, what we wanted to make sure is we had 3-4 principles. Right. First of all, we wanted to be transparent.
Okay.
We wanted to be very, very clear.
Right.
Ki if you are giving this value, this rewards, we're not going to hide behind some star. Okay, some TNC. We'll make it very, very transparent. Right. In fact, you'll see it even not only at the time of onboarding, but even post onboarding. For example, if you're taking an EMI through our co-brand card, you will see that we worked with the bank to put out all the clear, I would say, charges, what are the terms and conditions, in a way that even any layman will understand.
So you're saying that today's customer probably prefers transparency in his product over let's say कि क्या feature मिल रहा है ठीक है but जो भी दे रहे हो मुझे
Correct.
Tell me upfront.
Correct. So one of the principles, and I'm not saying this is the only thing, right? Transparency is very, very important. You need to build trust. You're a financial services, you're operating in as a fintech, working with banks, and you're dealing with people's money. You're dealing with people's money. Transparency is important. That ethos is very important. In fact, that is something that I value culturally also in the company, and that's what we do, right? Second, simplicity, right? We wanted to make sure that the product is very simple to understand. It's not having like 10, 15 things, this and that, this cap, that cap, ye karo, wo karo, this milestone, that milestone, do all of this stuff. These are complex stuff.
You seriously know your competitive space. Sounds like a man who knows in and out of this space.
You know why I keep talking about this cognitive load. Exactly. You know where it comes from, right? No, but
the moment I'm hearing Group A, Group B.
But sorry. I'm going to just interject here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut through all the one pages. I'm going to cut through all the consumer research. I know each founder has that heart moment where he feels कि हाँ ये मुझे अब launch करना है. Tell me that aha moment, Anil. When you felt कि मुझे credit card launch करना है, was that like one big thing which made you do that?
There's no like one big thing. See, sometimes you get that aha moment where you say, this idea seems good. Okay. I got it when I was on my vacation with my family and another, family friend. We were actually traveling and I was dabbling in the space of travel. And then it just struck me one. Like I said, serendipity. But that aha moment comes when you know this feels like it.
Correct.
But even when you know that it feels like it, you still have to do homework. So the period of research after that followed. And that's when we dabbled into these principles of how do I design the card, right? Then you build the conviction, right? So, like I said, we wanted to keep it transparent. We wanted to keep it simple. Then there are two big other dimensions which actually matter to the customers a lot, which we have incorporated and we preach that day in and day out and make sure we deliver on. The third is, I would say, significant amount of value, right? Value comes from various products and features which you give, not just in terms of monetary, but also sometimes it's intangibles that you offer. Sometimes it's exclusivity that you get. Exclusive access that you get which you may not get. For example, you were talking about how we all go to watch RCB matches. This year we tied up with RCB in Bangalore and some of our customers were selected to be part of entourage that follows the entire team. They get to meet the players and see them as they board the bus. They get into the stadium along with the players, then watch the entire match. These are intangibles, right? You can't put any value to it. You can't put any value to it. It's not like, I get 3 extra rupees for every transaction. It's not that.
But I'll tell you, this gives me a very interesting idea. If Adil allows me, I'm going to introduce a fun section here. Let's do one thing, Adil. Let's start with you. Let's start with a question which says, ki, when you are in your work persona travel and when you are on a personal travel, what is the difference? I want to unpack each one of you's personal traveler within yourself. Like, because I have its own way of traveling when I'm alone and when I'm with my family and when I'm traveling for work. Give me like some idea of how the traveler Adil is different from the traveler, let's say, when he's traveling for work and for personal stuff.
Yeah, the traveler for work and personal is both same for me.
Okay.
मेरा simple goal है life में, one life, live it large, मजे करने हैं.
So you value experiences and...
I am always the traveler persona and not the tourist persona.
Okay.
When I say traveler persona, it starts from the time I am informed this trip is coming up. Light bulb moment. Acha, this is the plane we need to catch. This is how I will make it to the airport. I'm going to go to this particular lounge. I'm going to eat this particular thing at that particular lounge.
The avocado toast, for example.
Whatever it is. Like, for example, if you're doing a domestic flight, it has to be Air India. It has to be the AI lounge at the T2 airport. Agar T1 galti se jana pade, now thankfully there is Rameshwaram Cafe. So the lounge can get deprioritized. Straight Rameshwaram Cafe, podi masala dosa, you're done, and then only dinner for the rest of the day.
So then...
But if I'm going for an international flight, again, domestic flight, you have to have the ghee roast Benedict at the Air India lounge, and then you take off. It's an international flight. You eat nothing at the lounge.
Got it.
Because then you want to make the most of your plane and the meal that you're served on the plane.
No, we know somebody who strategizes even the food part of it. So amazing.
I mean, you look at me.
So you are the one who like wakes up at exact 10 o'clock and realizes कि यार breakfast खत्म होने वाला है, but it's okay. Let's just skip the breakfast.
हाँ, because मेरे को पता है कि मेरे को क्या खाना है. Very clear. Awesome. Similarly, then going if it's about the hotel, then you know that these days, because of the podcast, I think pretty much everybody knows that my loyalties have moved from Marriott to Accor. And then in Accor, the kind of experiences I enjoy are often the Pullman, the Sofitel, the Swiss Hotel, raffles if I get an opportunity whenever. So then those are the brands that I'm going to go for. And then now, because we are chasing status, the goal this year is figure out diamond. So platinum is there right now, but how do you get to diamond? And then when it comes to then the airline alliances, we're talking about, okay, international travel, I prefer Emirates because of the gold status. If I'm traveling on the other side, Asia Pac, then we know that Singapore Airlines, simply because of the Star Alliance gold status. But at the same time, we know that the product is just majestic when it comes to Singapore Airlines, and they can't let you down. So for me, the airline loyalty matters, the hotel loyalty matters, the lounge, the airport experience, it's all connected.
Awesome. Like same question to you, Anil. Like, what is Anil the traveler? I know Anil the CEO. Like, tell us Anil the traveler. What do you do when you travel?
For me, business travel and leisure travel are very, very different.
Perfect.
And I'm on.
Let's unpack the leisure travel.
Yeah. Can we take a real world example of your upcoming trip in September?
This is a very, very different trip. I'm going to Tanzania to go to the Serengeti. So there is
amazing.
There is no hotel or Airbnb there. It's like all camps there.
Yeah,
right? I'm going into the
You're doing
wild.
this family, you're doing solo?
No, not solo. There's only one solo trip that I've done in 2004, but I've not done.
I've said this enough and more times on the podcast. There is one gentleman on my right who loves doing solo trips. I can't do solo trips for nuts, but please continue on your...
So yeah, look, I like to book flights a bit in advance because then it's locked in. Like, you've decided.
Yeah.
Maybe the accommodation gets booked 1-2 months before, depending on my mood and when I get the time, whatever. Then 1-2 days before the trip, I wake up for the trip. Then I get into the action mode of, okay, let me figure out what do I want to see, what do I want to do. And then every night, I would decide what the next day would be.
Right.
So not to this precision,
Yeah.
but I would say we'll spend 2-3 hours doing this, 2-3 hours doing that, 2-3 hours, and then some serendipity I'll figure out, like, I see something interesting, then just walk in there. Look, company running is meticulous, everything is planned, all of that stuff. There are some things in life which you don't want to plan. You want to leave to,
Do you make a food list, like when you're going to a new place कि ये 4 चीज try करनी है?
Sometimes I do. If like the 2-3 weeks before the trip, or like those 2-3 days before the trip, when I start researching, then I find out like what are the must-dos in the trip and all the stuff. Then if food pops up there, then I do, right?
Top 3 things that you loved about Japan.
Top 3 things that I loved about Japan. I loved the people.
Yeah.
I thought they were some of the nicest people that I've met in all the countries that I've been to. And I've been to many places around the world.
It's unreally good people. Like,
They're just so courteous, so welcoming. That was one. I like the food. I'm a vegetarian. I was actually quite worried. People told me, you may not find good food, but I enjoyed the ramen, I enjoyed the matcha tea. I mean, it's an acquired taste, but I started enjoying it. I had fun. I didn't have any trouble finding food. I enjoyed every bit of it. I would say, these are the top 3 things.
Awesome.
And of course, each city had its own nuances. Like, Japan had its own thing going on. Like all these arcade gaming and, so very interesting stuff. You won't find this anywhere in the world. Like,
absolutely crazy. Like, feels unreal. Like, I mean, one of the reasons why I travel, Adil, right, for example, is because I love learning about new cultures. And for me, I think Japan was one example, Vietnam was another. Every time you go to a new kind of country, say when we went to Europe for a largest period of time, after a point the culture starts feeling similar, right? But then you suddenly break that and go to a Japan or a Vietnam, you suddenly see, oh, Southeast Asia has its own culture, right? By the way, we did a very interesting segment in our last Japan episode where we only covered vegetarian food. So Amaya is our vegetarian guy on the show, and he would always cover all the vegetarian food ideas. Amaya, I'm going to round this up section with you before Adil takes the reins back from me. But tell me, like, when you travel for leisure, like, who are you as a traveler? Like, talk a little bit about
in
it.
general, work me is absolutely very different from non-work me. My wife listens into some of my meetings and she is like, is this the same person? No, but yeah, essentially my work travel is always, and I try to make it that way, very mechanical, because they're just so packed and so much to do and so little time. So it's literally, do what it takes to not think about other things. I probably take up, okay, what am I going to do on the given evening to eat? What am I going to do on the weekend when I have free time? But apart from that, I do not think too much.
Yeah.
And my personal trips are pretty much the opposite, actually, very similar to what Anil pointed out, which is that...
We know that, right?
Yeah, like,
no
I'm
planning.
not going to overplan. I'm going to keep things flexible. I will focus on eating good food everywhere, but I'm not going to focus saying, I need to go to this attraction, that attraction. That's how I roughly plan things out.
I mean, for me, it's very simple. I think the way I do it is I don't distinguish between business and personal travel, but I do distinguish between family travel and solo travel. So when I travel solo, it's typically the traveler persona. But we discussed this on our show, right? Traveler is the one who is carefree, doesn't plan, doesn't want to see all tourist places. He just goes, 2-4 food experiences lega, wake up and see the place, jog around the area. So that's how I behave when I'm solo. But when I'm with my family, like I let my wife take the reins to say, okay, where do you want to go? What all do you want to do? Because I've been lucky enough to travel more for work and, extended that. So even if my meeting gets over at 11 o'clock in the night, I'll make sure that I'll go to one famous place to eat in that city. Even if it is Lucknow or Agra, I don't plan for where I am. I just plan for, wherever I am, how can I make the best out of it, extend it a little bit and,
Are you calling your business trips solo trips?
No, I mean, there are other solo trips also which I've done, but...
He did a 10-day trip to Vietnam.
Oh, wow. How often do you do these solo trips?
Once in 2 years, once in 3 years, depending on the schedule.
That's not bad. Yeah.
I think it
वो अभी भी समझ में नहीं आता मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कैसे करते हो यार solo
No, Adil, I feel once you do it, you'll realize that there is value to it. But again, it takes time to like he said, for Macha it's an acquired taste.
नहीं I think वो वही है ना वो Maslow's theory of motivation जो पढ़ाते हैं ना so नीचे रोटी कपड़ा मकान and then you're at that self actualization
but it's good top. Like I've done this I did but I did it for a little bit too long I believe when I reflect back and I did it only once after that I've not had a chance maybe I'll do it sometime again. But I did a 17-day solo trip. And after, I would say 11-12 days, like, I thought I was done.
I agree with that.
So now maybe my sweet spot will be 5-7 days. I don't know. I have to experiment now and figure out different stage of life. So I don't know what I'll enjoy. But I want to give it a shot again. Solo would be good, but after a while you'll probably want to come back.
By the way, like I feel that solo travel has changed a lot. By the way, like one tip that I would give for solo travelers, if you're not tried and you want to try it and you still miss that companion कि कोई होना चाहिए साथ में, like the world has changed after ChatGPT. By the way, like you can happily talk to ChatGPT. One thing is ChatGPT always makes you feel good.
ChatGPT as his companion.
नहीं recently, but it makes you feel good. Like even if you had the worst day as solo travel, like amazing day that you had, great planning, and you feel so good about it.
Solo is not so solo right now because you still have a mobile phone, right? I did a solo trip. It was 2004, like I said. There were no 3G and smartphones at that time. So you had to really get to I used to be in hostels and you have to get to the common computer where you will want to log into your email. Maybe Gmail just launched or something like that, right? And then you can keep in touch with the people that you want to because you're, you want. Now, though, it's not that solo, relatively, if you look at it.
Yeah, but see, like, can you guys imagine going to a new country, a new place without a Google Maps? Like, today I can't imagine it.
I don't think kids nowadays can even conceptualize that,
you
can read a physical
map. You can't go from
map.
home to office without Google Maps.
No, but I've done it with the traditional Lonely Planet book, with the maps, and looking at like the map direction.
Sir, back in the day, Google Maps was, sir, ये कहाँ पे है बताओ? आगे से left, हाँ done. So that was Google Maps.
I
for
mean,
us
a
back
friend
in the
of mine
day.
always says that India is like a giant Google Maps. You don't need it. Of course, this is what he used to say 10 years ago. Arun, if you're listening, this is for you.
And by the way, even now it's very easy to figure out who's a tourist and who's a local. But when I remember this trip, you could literally tell who's the backpacker, who's holding the map in their hands.
Exactly.
If somebody's holding the map in their hands,
Correct.
you'll clearly know, right?
Correct.
Now it's probably the person who's looking at the phone and like looking at things like this. But yeah.
So Anil, let's get to know you a little bit more. So
Sure.
what has been your most cherished / favorite travel destination till date? Why?
What I've not thought about this I mean, very instinctively, if I were to look back at one of my most cherished trips, I would say it was a cross-country road trip from New York to San Francisco.
Wow.
It was
A road trip.
It was a road trip.
So a red-eye flight on that route is 6 hours.
Yeah.
Talk about how long it
It's
took you.
probably, I don't know, 3,000 miles or so in the
Yeah.
US. I was on a career break. I just left my job at Qualcomm and I was going to join my MBA. So I was like, okay, let's do something crazy. So me and my wife decided to do a road trip. What I loved about the road trip was US is so large,
Yeah.
right? When you go from one end to the other, you'll find various cultures, different terrains, different food, different things to do.
Yeah.
I've done stuff that I wouldn't typically have done while living there, right? During that trip, I went to a national park, Yellowstone. I saw Mount Rushmore in the middle of nowhere, which is very hard to get to, by the way, right? Even if you're living in the US, right? We drove through 10, 12 hours of plain, like just highway with nothing other than just land on either side. Been to beautiful mountains of Montana and
Nice.
snow-peaked, really beautiful terrain. I went to my college town where I studied in Urbana-Champaign. We stopped over at Indy 500,
The racetrack.
the racetrack.
Yeah.
Then I went to Daytona where the Wright brothers first flew the flight.
This is all on one trip.
Oh, obviously, all one trip.
How long was this trip?
6-7 days. But
You
can
did all of this in 7 days?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it because you're driving and you're going through all of these places, right? Then I went to Chicago, met some friends. Then
You also went through crazy weather, right?
no, not really. I was in the summer,
summer.
Okay.
summer.
Because Chicago, I am thinking snow.
No.
Yeah.
This is good time to drive and do all of that stuff. Then we ended up in Salt Lake City, and we was like, you went to Salt Lake City. What do you want to see? The Salt Lake. But you go there, man. It's like Salt Lake it's one of those things where nobody comes and sees the Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Because it's stale water, so
Yeah.
it stinks. But you don't realize this until you go there, right? These are things that you figure out serendipitously. You go land in a place, you are thinking, let's go see everything. Then you go through Nevada, then you land at San Francisco,
Yeah.
go through the Golden Gate, and then enter the city. It's a beautiful sight with the entire bay.
Yeah.
That entire trip, I can still remember it. It's been, I don't know, 15 years or so. But one of my cherished trips.
Yeah,
but I can look
that's what
back
that-
at,
Yeah, that's what I keep telling Adil also a lot of times, right? There is very little correlation with your most memorable trip and the money that you spent on the trip, right? It's not always linear.
Yeah.
Like it's always, I mean, you never know that which trip is going to be your most memorable
never know,
trip,
yeah,
right?
you
I
never
mean,
know.
No, but this came instinctive to me. But pretty much every trip that I've done, I can recall and figure out, I did this, I did that. You just have to spend time
Yeah.
going into that memory. But, there's always something nice to cherish about in these trips.
इंडियाज वर्जन ऑफ आइडियल रोड ट्रिप लाइक मुझे नहीं पता क्या है बट जो लोग ज्यादा बॉलीवुड देखते हैं उनके लिए रोड ट्रिप ऑलवेज दिल चाहता है का गोवा ड्राइविंग
At some point, I want to do Kashmir to Kanyakumari. I want to do a road trip. I will figure out at some point. You've done it?
So 2010, a couple of friends of mine and me, we met Samir the other day
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Maverick
Yeah,
when we were having
yeah.
coffee. So Sameer, Ratish and I, three friends, we were reading some magazine. All of us are car buffs. वो ऑटो कार इंडिया में कुछ आया था कि 3 guys create a world record by going from point A to point B in whatever amount of time, and it was a Limca book of records. So we called Limca book of records. तो बताया क्या है बताओ. बोले यार ये boring है. Why don't we have a new challenge for you? Somebody's just done this in 25 days, and if you break it, this will be a great opportunity. It could get a lot of buzz. मैं बोला बताओ क्या करना है. They said you've got to go to more than 100 cities. Cover every state in India, every union territory, apart from the 2 islands which are connected by sea, and do all of them, and do it in record time. We said, what's the record? They said it's 24 days and some few hours.
Oh, wow.
So we sat down together, and Sameer, Ratish and I said, यार ये करते हैं, मजा आएगा. Because our philosophy was simple. We love traveling. Back in the day, 2010, we loved driving. I'm from a small town called Belgaum. तो प्लेन तो कभी देखी नहीं थी वो ज़माने में. ड्राइविंग के काफ़ी मजे आते थे. I was a biker also, so I would love biking.
And did you do this? Which year was this?
2010.
Oh, wow.
And we said, let's do this. So we put a map together, again, plotted
Physical
the whole
map.
thing physically and all of that. And we said, ठीक है ये करते हैं. And now there's no money to do this, obviously, because what do you do? So he said, Tabhi, like, you know, obviously Twitter was very new back in the day. Facebook was relatively new back in the day. We were the original Orkut guys. So we used to hang out on Orkut back in the day, right?
Was there? 2010?
Yeah,
I thought
Orkut
it
was
died
cool.
by then. Yeah.
No, then it had died, of course. Orkut started
Oh, achha,
perhaps in 2004.
6, 4, yeah.
4, 5, then Facebook came in 2007, so on and so forth. But ठीक है, चल रहा था. So we said, why not put this up online? So why not create a website? And we coined a small brand called Tantalizing India. And we said, we are 3 guys who are going to cover 100 cities, every state, every union territory, capital city of every state and every union territory. And we're going to eat food and we're going to blog about it. Okay. And we put up online और हमारे social media Facebook page पे डालेंगे. So we said, let's put it out there. So कुछ जुगाड़ करके started speaking to people. One newspaper covered us. That happened to be Times of India. They wrote a large article about us. वो आ गया, छप गया वो कैसे तो. वो देख के we got an inbound call from Stanley Lifestyle saying that we want to sponsor you. अरे यार ये तो पैसे बन सकते हैं ऐसे. Amazing. So अच्छा, how will you sponsor? No, we'll do the seats of your car and we'll make it comfortable and, you know, very travel friendly वगैरह वगैरह. Amazing. That idea hit us, started writing mails to people, got in Airtel as a sponsor to give us free SIM cards and free national roaming, because roaming was
Uस time पे तो
expensive
national
back
roaming was a
in the
big
day.
thing.
वो देख के Docomo also came on board, so we had 2 sponsors as travel
nice.
sponsors. Then we got Redbox events. They said we want to put branding on your car of Redbox events. We had a Fortuner that we were going to drive. Said we will do that. Chumbak had just started. Vivek Prabhakar had just started Chumbak back in the day. He said, wherever you go, if you meet fans, you give them Chumbak goodies. So this whole thing turned out, and then we collected some money also. So eventually what happened was, we did this, we broke the record in some 16 and a half days. We were giving live updates, and we had the best food of our lives in dhabas. We used to shower in those wells जो होते थे ना जहाँ पे धाबा के सामने होते हैं, and just keep driving. So never stayed at any property. Just keep driving, have local experiences, share. And it was
You just
perhaps one of my
slept
most
in the
memorable
car,
trips.
basically.
Sorry?
Slept in the car, basically.
Yeah, so one guy was driving, one guy was navigating, one guy was sleeping.
Oh, wow.
And the guy who was navigating also had social media responsibilities.
Oh, wow.
So we would take turns, and the car was driving 24/7 because we had a record
We
to
got to
break.
break.
So now we have the Desi version and we have the Videshi version. Like, but
देसी version तो
yeah,
बहुत मजे हैं.
exactly. And I actually the whole thing that you told, the most exciting part was कि तो हम हर ढाबा पे रुक के खाए. Like for me that was the most exciting part. And by the way, like whenever I have done highway travel, the way we think about good food is जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा trucks रुके हैं, वहाँ पे रुक के खाओ. Because they know the food is good, you will get great.
उधर खाओ नहीं, और वो पाजी को पूछो कि क्या खा रहे हो,
Exactly.
और वो खाओ.
Exactly.
वो उसको मत पूछो कि तू क्या देगा, क्योंकि then that's bias.
So there's a very funny incident that reminds me. We stopped at one dhaba when we were going from Delhi to Agra by car, and we stopped at the dhaba like this, and the server was coming and asking us. So we were talking to 2 truck drivers. So they said, "आ जाओ साथ में." So we sat and joined them. We started eating whatever they were eating, and then we were carrying this miniature whiskey bottle. So we opened it, and they started laughing. Itna hi bas, because they were making this large packs from big bottles and we were having this miniature bottle. So like, yeah, that's an amazing memory, yeah.
Also, you meet crazy people. So you mentioned about people, I think, Japan, and you spoke about your correlation with people. You meet fascinating people. Like, for example, met this guy who was this short. Ejaz bhai, 42-year-old guy. Itna sa tha wo. We started talking to him. And he said, "Aa jao, saath mein khana khate hain." And we are having lunch with this guy. He was fascinatingly with a truck driver, and he was, he was not driving, but he was with the truck driver. दोनों को बोला, "aa jao, khana khate hain." We started talking to each other. Turns out, that guy had not stepped out of his town ever in his life.
Wow.
वो ट्रक ड्राइवर के साथ
That
आया
happens
था,
a lot
but
in India,
वो
by the way.
फर्नीचर डिलीवरी की ट्रक थी, तो वो शहर के अंदर ही घूमती थी, कभी बाहर गई नहीं. एंड इट वाज सो लिबरेटिंग टू अस कि बॉस, हियर्स अ गाय हु वाज सो हैप्पी विद लाइफ, grateful that he had a job, loved his job, and he was like, क्यों? I am so happy here.
There are a lot of people in India
It
who
hit me
don't
that,
step
boss,
out.
Yeah,
better
I'm
be
sure.
grateful in
I'm
life.
sure.
God has blessed you and you've seen so many things. But look at this guy. He's so happy doing what he does. So it teaches you quite a fair bit.
So few months back, a few weeks back, I think we did an episode specifically on your first international trip, right? And I mentioned that day also, and I'm reiterating that, right? I feel that you are lucky if you even experience your first international trip, right? Because like a large part of population hasn't even done it. Like I was telling Adil that day that how experiencing your first duty free on an airport is like a mesmerizing experience for somebody who's never traveled, right? So cool. Let's
Let's come to another question. तो अभी travel की काफी बातें होगी. Let's come to like what's exciting you now for the next 5 years. If you think about it, if you think from a very Scapia lens, if you think of a very fintech plus travel lens, the question is like, what's the one travel card / fintech innovation that you think could change the game when it comes to this world of ours?
The way we think about it and what we do is we need to put out industry first things on a continuous basis so that our product is innovative and cherished by the customer and we stay ahead, right? I don't know if you saw in the last 1 year, we have put several such industry first. By the way, we are one of the few cards where the card experience and the travel experience comes together in the app in a beautiful, seamless manner. Okay, that itself is a little bit of industry first, and there's a lot more folks trying to do that now. By the way, around the globe as well. As we speak, in the last 1-2 years, some of the biggest fintechs around the globe have all started to think about giving travel platforms inside. Okay, but people typically say Indian startups follow what's happening in the Western world, but I personally like to believe that we're one of the first to have done it and others are doing it now. But in the last 1 year, we've done several such innovations. We are the only product right now where beyond the typical lounge access that cards give, we say the entire airport is your lounge. We say, these are airport privileges that you have. Lounges are getting crowded. Lounges are, have long lines. Sometimes it's messy inside. Depends on the lounge. Some lounges are still good, but sometimes you're going with a family and everybody cannot get in. So you said, you know what? Why can't you just eat at a restaurant and then use or tap your card, and then you can get the money back? Or you can decide, okay, you know what? I'm taking the flight, or I've eaten some food at home. I don't need food this time. Maybe I'll buy a gift for some family, right? So we've launched this, and it's a big hit among our customers, where they can go use our card anywhere at the airport for whatever they choose to do with whoever they want to, right? This is an industry first innovation, right? We just launched last month with our bank a dual line card where customers can get both the Visa and the RuPay on a single line, single statement, single repayment, but have the option of using Visa wherever they want, using RuPay on UPI where they can just scan and pay. That way the customer doesn't have to deal with multiple cards, all of that stuff, multiple repayments, multiple statements. But and it also shows up very beautifully as a single statement inside and make it super convenient, right? Now, why I'm giving these examples is, these are hard things to build, but these are innovations that make it super simple, delightful for the consumer to use while giving them value, and we will continue doing that, right? In hotels, for example, right? Right now we just launched something where you want to find hotels, for example, next to the place that you are going to go and see. Like let's say I want to go to Taj Mahal and I want to go to Agra, right? To be able to see all the hotels in a map view around Taj Mahal is something that we believe is important for the customer to launch. This may not be industry first, like a lot of people have done it, but for us, these things matter and we focus on product innovation quite a bit. So you will see us over the next 5 years. You asked a question about 5 years, that's what I'm saying, and we'll do this day in and day out, but over the next 5 years, launching several such products that will delight users. If you're not doing that, and if I'm launching one every 3 years or 5 years, then we're already dead.
Yeah.
That's how we think about it.
think
And that's essential in a B2C world, by the way.
I think good examples, I feel, Adil, and I think the lounge one I connect to a lot. Like I'm sure Amay and you guys will also agree, right? So there are airports where I look forward to going to the lounge. I plan to reach early. And I'm sure a lot of people think like me. For example, if I'm traveling via Bangalore, I always reach early. Be it with my family, be it solo, because I want to experience the lounge. But there are airports like Delhi, for example. I don't enjoy the experience. I try to reach last minute, but because you're worried about losing your flight and the Delhi traffic, you end up reaching early and you don't know what to do. And I would love to explore, because we have been those guys who say, okay, मेरे को shopping करनी airport, but airport everything is so expensive. Like, do I have something that can help me? Like, I don't know if you guys also think that way. Like,
I fundamentally do not agree with the principles of these lounges in some sense. Right? I think it needs to be a lot more democratized. A lot of times the choice is you want to do what you want to do. It's not like I will do this because this is available in my lounge, right? Like say for instance, we talked of the Bangalore airport. I will more often than not go to the other places if I'm in T1 especially. There's so many nice eateries out there. T2 is coming up with it as well. Buying things most definitely will happen. Whether you like to pay the big price or not. There are a lot of times when you're on a busy trip and you are going back and you're going to have to get gifts for someone, or you're traveling to a given place, you need to pick up a few gifts. It's going to happen. I think it's a great innovation that way, and people have called it out. Definitely people that I speak to have said at multiple times that it's a very important.
By the way, you may not, sorry to interrupt, but you may not know this, but there are only, I believe, 32 airports in the country where there are lounges.
I see.
Right? Our innovation on this and what we call airport privileges can be used across 72 airports. So the 40 airports come into the fold even where there is no lounge involved. To be fair, I think it's more about the choice for the customer. There are some people who still want to go to the lounge.
Correct.
There's some people who will want to eat outside. There's some people who enjoy the buffet. There's some people who want the choice of one food, like what you're saying, right? Some people who may not even want to eat. They might be on a diet or like, you know what, ghar ka khana khana hai, whatever it is, right? So, to each one, you know, whatever they want, and let's give the choice, right? Why restrict the choice?
Yeah, so I like the concept of airport privileges because that's exactly how it's defined.
Yeah.
The power is in your hands, not in somebody else's hands. You're saying, itne mein itna hi milega. That feeling of I can choose whatever I want. These are 5 different restaurants or 5 different shopping avenues, like you said, not just restaurants. I can choose whatever I
but you
feel
forget,
like. That is powerful.
And sometimes you forget, you're not, like, more often than not, you're not traveling alone. You're going with your spouse, or you're going with your friend, or you're going with your family, right? And you want to share a meal together, right? And, you know, that might be 1,000 rupees or whatever it is. But, you know, if you can put that entire meal for the family together on the card, why not? Right? Versus, you know, figuring out in the line, ki if I have 3 cards, 4 cards, you have lounge access for each, you know, getting in, standing in the line.
Awesome. So with that, let's do a fun rapid fire.
Sure.
And the goal here, folks, is we'll do rapid fire for everyone. We'll start with Anil, we'll come to Amaya, we'll come to Dhiman. And then what Dhiman is going to do is, He's going to do the rapid fire for me, and then we'll
Sure.
end it out.
Okay.
So rapid fire for Anil first. So
Okay.
Anil, here the only rule is it's really rapid fire. No
Yeah.
time to think.
Sure.
Whatever
Yeah.
comes to head
Sure.
or heart first, you
Sure. Yeah.
spurt it out. Okay?
Sounds good.
And window or aisle?
Window, no. Aisle.
One comfort food you always want on your travel.
I would like to have maybe a dosa or curd rice, but I don't get it everywhere. Yeah, but it's not like I need it every day. Once in 5-6 days, maybe. Yeah.
Most used travel app you can't plug your own.
Right now it is mine. From time to time, I do look at Airbnb for what they offer, but
Yeah.
I don't travel that often. So, I open it maybe once in 6 months. Yeah.
Acha, okay. Next destination on your personal list.
I'm going to Tanzania.
Awesome. One city you can never get enough of.
I would like to go to Yosemite National Park whenever I get a chance
Wow.
again. I used to go there regularly every year when I was in the US.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I don't mind going back there again. I typically don't like to go to the same place again because there's so much the world
Yeah.
offers. But for some reason, I feel like, I want to go back to Yosemite again. Yeah.
Amazing. First stamp on your passport.
This was, I would say UK, London. Yeah.
Lounge access or street food detour.
Street food detour, obviously. Yeah.
Travel gadget you can't live without.
Travel gadget, I would say my AirPods, to watch a movie when I'm bored on the flight.
Hotel suite or boutique homestay.
Boutique homestay.
Most spontaneous trip you've ever taken.
I did a road trip. I did a road trip December 24th, 2002. I was in my college and the college was empty because everybody had gone back home. It was Christmas time. I called my friend who was in Chicago, and then one other friend was in Wisconsin, Madison. We started driving at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. Then we drove till 6 p.m. and we went north, picked up a friend. Then we went south for another 16 hours, ended up in Nashville, Tennessee. That was spontaneous, yeah.
Awesome.
It took a while to get back to that memory, but yeah.
Last place you got lost but loved it.
I got lost in Rome once.
Did you enjoy it?
I don't know whether I loved it,
Yeah.
but I got robbed. But I got back the wallet as soon as I got robbed.
Oh,
That's an
that's
interesting
lucky,
story. Within 20 seconds, I remembered that somebody, I just felt it that I was pickpocketed.
Yeah.
And I got lost, and then I ran after the person and grabbed the wallet back. Looking back, I would say it was a memory. I don't know that I loved it, but I loved the city, of course. And then I did a lot of gelato and ice cream, I remember. But that was the place I got lost.
Speaking of gelatos, favorite gelato flavor?
Strawberry, I guess. Yeah.
Final question. If Scapia gave you a time machine, what era would you travel to?
Interesting question. I would probably go back to 80s and 90s and then travel around the world a little bit more.
Awesome. We'll close that out and we'll come to Amya. Amya, window aisle.
I'll.
One comfort food you always want on your travel other than Wagh Bakri Chai because that I know you want.
I'm indifferent apart from that.
Most used travel app.
Google Maps counts.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Yeah.
Next destination on your personal list.
Personal list, Bombay sometime.
One city you can never get enough of.
Rome.
First stamp on your passport.
South Africa.
South Africa. First stamp.
Long ago.
This is a story we
I-
haven't heard, no? Like
Yeah,
maybe
we
for
haven't
another
heard this
podcast.
story.
Maybe
Oh, no,
for
no, no.
another
So
podcast.
I didn't end up traveling, but my dad was due to teach
Oh, he just had a stamp.
at the University of Durban. So I just had a stamp, but never ended up going there.
Oh.
That's a story in itself.
Oh man. What travel gadget can't you live without?
Neck pillow.
Lounge access or street food detour?
Street food. Always.
Hotel suite or boutique homestay?
Hotel suite.
Most spontaneous trip you've ever taken?
Never. Always planned.
Last place you got lost and loved it?
Never. Always planned.
If you were given a time machine, what era would you travel back to?
Before the computers.
Before, so what era is that? That's
Well, before
60s.
the internet. Let's just say before the internet.
You're
Maybe-
a 90s kid, aren't you?
Yeah.
This guy cannot do anything
Just
without a
about.
desktop. And he wants to go ahead off without a desktop and
Maybe
computer.
that's why he hates
No,
it
which
so
is
much.
why. Yeah. I mean,
All right, cool. Dimant, window or aisle?
Aisle, but I never get the aisle because of traveling with family, so I'm always in the middle seat. I hate that.
One comfort food you always want on your travel?
White rice.
Your most used travel app?
Would be award wallet.
Next destination on your personal list?
On my personal list, it's Masai Mara,
One city you can never get enough of?
Bruges,
First stamp on your passport?
US.
Travel gadget you can't live without?
This MagSafe ka wallet.
Wallet.
I love that.
Yeah. Lounge access or street food detour?
Street food detour any day.
Hotel suite or boutique homestay?
Hotel suite.
Most spontaneous trip you ever taken?
Goa overnight drive. Decided to just go to Goa for a trip.
Last place you got lost and loved it?
New York.
If Scapia gave you a time machine, what era would you travel to?
I would travel to 90s to watch a little bit more of Sachin batting in his prime.
Desert
That's what I
Storm?
would- Desert Storm any day, 96.
April
Just
1998.
think about Tony Gregg and his commentary.
Insane.
Down the track comes Sachin, Tendulkar.
Those two back to back 90. The matches in 98 were crazy.
April 24th, I think, 1998.
One of us is birthday. Yes, correct.
India, Pakistan.
And I remember very well that even when he was given out, he was actually not out. Like that delivery, it was a no ball or
I
whatever.
remember he and Lakshman playing, and Lakshman probably scored 10-20 runs. And, but he played a very important role.
How do you get over that batting lineup? Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Ajay Jadeja, Robin Singh. Man, it's something.
I remember
else. So
that,
I think fantastic choice.
I like very funnily, I was such a big Sachin fan. Like in test matches, I would wait for somebody to get out so that Sachin can get in. Like routinely, I would opt for Rahul Dravid to get out. Jaldi out ho jaye yaar, Sachin ko aane de, please.
I remember that very evidently because my 12th standard boards had finished, and then I think it was like the IIT JEE exam was due in 1 week or something. But I was sitting up and watching all these matches. At like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I remember when Sachin was playing one of those nights, my mother woke up and like, what are you watching these matches for? You should be sleeping. And like, I was like, you can't miss this, you know.
But I'll tell you, I remember that time when there were two distinct memories that each of the millennials would have, right? One is when Sachin would get out, half the television sets would shut off.
Yeah.
And second is when when he's hitting a shot and the ball is up in the air, like the whole country is gasping.
Oh, in Bangalore, the traffic would reduce.
Exactly. So, insane.
I had the same thing memory during this thing, except the IPL was starting at the time when I was writing the exams.
I don't think there's a comparison to Operation Desert Storm. Yeah.
So has it always been RCB for you, Ameya?
I mean, I've not been so involved per se, but yeah, sort of. No, but yeah, the Desert Storm match was really nice. I remember it.
Yeah.
Sharjah, no?
Yeah, Sharjah. I mean, cricket, we can go on and on. I think about there should be another podcast on cricket itself. But I think like cricket is so special.
Awesome. So this time, because we always miss the rapid fire with Adil, we're going to take a special time where I do part-time hosting. I'm not a natural, but yeah, let's do the same rapid fire with you, Adil. Window or aisle?
I'll always.
Okay. One comfort food you always want on your travels?
No comfort food, always open to experimentation.
Okay. Most used travel app?
Flighty.
Okay. Next destination on your personal list?
Masai Mara.
Okay. Okay. I hope we don't end up meeting each other there.
April next year. Time अभी भी decided है. Already अभी itinerary बन रहा है.
One city you can never get enough of?
One?
City you can never get enough of?
Bombay.
Okay. First stamp on your passport?
London.
Interesting. Travel gadget you can't live without?
iPhone charger.
Okay. That seems more like a compulsion than
like I need it on the plane. I need it in the lounge. मेरे को हर जगह.
You should upgrade like a MagSafe charger. Lounge access or street food detour?
Street food. Chaat, any point. Dahi puri. Yeah.
Hotel suite or boutique homestay?
Sweet.
Okay. Most spontaneous trip you ever taken?
Lucknow, just to eat galoti kebabs.
Wow. Last place you got lost and you loved it?
Bombay.
Okay. If Scapia gave you a time machine, what era would you travel to?
5 years into the future.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, that's a wrap, guys, on our fun podcast with Anil, who's the founder and CEO of Scapia. Anil, big thanks for making time for our episode. We genuinely enjoyed the conversation with you. Lovely getting to know you. Yeah. You've got a very fancy office, and you found an evangelist of the biryani club, not the vegetarian one. The vegetarian one is sitting next to you. That's Ameya. For me. Yeah.
But I want to know, like, both your and veggies and is veggie biryani real or like?
Yeah, I don't want to get hate comments from vegetarians. So let's not go there. But
No, thanks for having me as well. I really enjoyed meeting you guys for the first time. Of course, Dimant I've known from Flipkart days. Thanks for having me and really enjoyed this. Yeah.
Thank you so
and
much.
Ameya, Dhiman, thanks for making time again. Lovely
worries.
having you all around. With that, let's wrap this up, guys. Hope you had a fun time tuning into the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Keep telling us what kind of content you enjoy, who you'd like us to see cover on the show next, and what kind of content you'd like us to see. Like you know, we are on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Find us, like, subscribe. With that, this is Adil, Anil, Dhimant, and Ameya signing off on the Great Indian Points and Miles show.
Lights flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo. Hidden treasures in every flight. Nights in places that feel so right. From deserts to the city lights. Get set, steal those dazzling sights. Miles stack up each passing day. Rewards come back in a million ways. In this game you want to play the Great Indian Adventure, yay! Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.